Hey everybody, welcome back. So here today we're going to be testing out this nylon fuel line repair kit. It's a Dorman kit that we picked up from Amazon. So we're going to get right to it and look inside the kit. Of course, we have our instructions. We have all the tools and couplers. And then we also have a couple of sections of repair hose and a cutter. So we're going to go ahead and lock the top door. Lift this up. We're going to need the cutter, and we're going to need some of this repair hose and some of this other parts in the kit. We also have some hose clamps and a few other pieces. So what we're trying to do here is basically fix this, because this hose was ruptured and we kind of temporarily fixed it just to be able to move the car, but the fuel line isn't laying quite right. So what I want to do is have this fuel line laying back on this side where it belongs. So we're going to go ahead and probably cut the line right about here, remove this, and get this all put together. So we're going to flip the camera around here. And aim it in such a way so we can see. So we should be able to see what's going on right there. Oops. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put it right there. We're going to go ahead and disconnect our fuel line here. Now this car, the battery's already unhooked, so we don't have to worry about the fuel pump coming on. Sorry, had to go grab a tool to get this bottom part loose. So there we are, disconnected. So now this is supposed to be on this side. As we can see, it's got a bit of a kink to it. So and we do have some brand new fittings here. That's not the right one. Now this appears to be, yes, this is the right one. It has the same blue line connection. So what we're going to do is press our line piece onto here and then get this wrapped around. Now the reason for doing it this way is because the fuel line, this, has been discontinued by Chrysler. So since the line has been discontinued, there's not a whole lot that we can do to fix this. So now we're going to move back out to here. Now, as we can see, this is our new section of line. And we really don't need that much, so I'm only going to cut this one and then slide this around a little, just so I can have a little bit more line here. Because I don't really need all that much line. But we're going to cut just a little bit extra just so we have it. So we're going to put this right about here and snip that. And because this end is a little messed up, we're going to go ahead and snip that end off. So now we have two nice smooth cuts. Now the next thing we're going to do is get this started in here. Move this out of the way. Now this tool slides onto here, and then we have to use these clamps in here, and depending on which one you're using, because what this does is this lays into these grooves, right? So this is going to press into there like that. This is going to stick out to here and lay right there. And then this is going to go here. So we're going to get that about right there. And then we're going to need our couple little wing nuts. For those to thread into. So we're just going to get that started. Take this, push it in, and then go ahead and put another one through here. Like that. And then go ahead and tighten these two down. Now the way this thing is supposed to work is like a caulking gun. So all we have to do, in theory here, is just keep pumping this handle here, and then this should pull this in, forcing this nipple into this pipe. This is the first time I'm using this tool, so what we're going to try to do here is, again, because I've never used this tool, is go ahead and get that right there. So we're going to feed this pipe in first, and then go ahead and tighten this down. And then we're going to go ahead and slide this in to where it will fit through like that, and then go ahead and tighten that down. So now we should have it like this, and we should be able to continually pump this handle here and have this hose get pushed in to this nipple. Now, according to the books there that come with this, you might need to have a little bit of heat. You also want to make sure this is all the way on so it stays nice and straight. Now, since this is fuel line, you want to be careful when you're heating it up. So for this part, I'm going to go ahead and use a little torch to heat up right here and just heat up the whole tool. But when I go to the fuel line section, I'll have to use a heat gun. Alright, but see, when you get too much heat, this is what happens. So now, we're going to start over. as we can see, it did not go very deep. And like I said before, we wouldn't even have to do this if this part we're working with wasn't discontinued. Now this might work a lot better if you had a vise to clamp it down in. Right now, my vise happens to be broken. So, we're just doing this on the floor. And it is a very tight squeeze. So we're going to again try just a little bit of heat on this block. Nothing too crazy, because we don't want to hurt the nylon line. Yeah, I think I finally have the trick to this, is you have to go, a few steps at a time. So right now what I'm doing is trying to get this pushed down as much as I can, keep releasing it, and pushing the hose deeper in. As we can see, the hose is basically all the way in now. So there we go. So yeah, if you do it in stages, it's not so bad. So the next thing we got to do, take this one off there. So as we see, there's our fitting, went all the way in. Now on this end, we have to get this fitted. Now this one, slide on here. Like so, and then this can lay in like that, or like this. Now that we do that, now that we're going to take this one, and once we figure out our exact dimensions that we need, we're going to fit this into here and press this in. And then we'll have to take the hose and go up into the car and press this one into the hose in there. So we're going to go ahead and take some measurements. So now we're going to move on up into the car before we do this final step of putting on at the very end. So now we're going to put this back like it was. Get into the car. We're going to take this, fit it here. So now the next thing we're going to have to do is get this set up to push two hoses together. So what we're going to do is get this like this. And this one will go like this. Now we'll go ahead and put this one in here and get it right to about there. Then we'll slide that into there. Right. Now actually, well, what we're going to do is get this hose. We're going to flip this around. Get that all the way up here like this. And then we're going to start pulling this together. As we can see, it's pulling together just fine. So now what we're going to have to do, loosen these two up. Enough that we can pull this hose through even further. Tighten it back down. And then get it right to there. So now we've made a successful crimp on this. So now what we've got to do is determine that that's about right, because now we have excess, so we can get rid of this clamp and go ahead and put the other one on here for this 90-degree fitting. Okay, now, so just for show, this is the original and this is the replacement. Both the same size, just this one has a longer nipple on it. So, what we're gonna do, go ahead and slide this in. Get that all the way down. And flip this over where it needs to be. Get that kind of started in there. This is going to go right about there. And then get tightened down. Now we have our hose about equal with the end of the block. Now we need this to go here. And because it's a 90-degree piece, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So we're going to back this up a little bit because we might need to get this to go a little further in. In order to actually get started. So now I can feel this is actually going in. We got it butted right up against it, so we're going to back off and start over because it fell out. Okay, so that's still being somewhat difficult. This doesn't always function, I guess, the way that you need it to for the 90-degree fittings. So this does fit in here like so. And this is supposed to go here. Actually, that's not 100% true. So this should go here.
Oh yeah. So far it seems to be working great. Like the straight nipples work fine, but the little 90-degree one seems to be a little more tricky. So far it's doing good. So here we are again. Now we've got this part fixed. So looks like once you put this piece on here, this presses in perfectly smooth. So we're going to go ahead and release these clamps. Pull this out and then reclamp it, and then go ahead and pull it the rest of the way on, and should have a good solid repair. So there we go. I know we took about 15 minutes, but this is the first time using this tool. And always the first time is going to be a little tricky, especially with a tool you've never used. Even after looking at the instructions and seeing how it actually goes together, it's not the easiest tool in the world to use until you use it at least one time. So now we have a proper repair done on our unobtainable fuel line that has been discontinued. So if you are working with one of these nylon fuel line kits, they are repairable. You can do this. I mean, ideally replacing it with a complete part would be the way to go, but if that part's not available, there's always this. And now we're going to go ahead and put this on, lock it into place, and verify that it's functional. So here we are. Fuel line's in place. It's not kinked, and it seems to be doing just fine. So now we're going to go ahead and start the car and verify that it's working.